Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be delivering the printout soon to cover oversight or the topic judicial review and actually the oversight program, for example, of a presidential office would be one important tool to ensure the rule of law ideas. So actually, I said that the administrative agency would be the first branch, and they would have some ground to exercise their power, but within the oversight mechanism. So there will be one topic I now discuss briefly, and also some other cases in this class, and that discussion would be covered by delivery of printout soon. Okay, I encountered some a great environment, gathering of a student group and have sake. Any event yesterday, last night, I commute to return home. And I encountered actually the campus environment now turned to be very active. And how do you enjoy soccer? Do you like soccer? Some Korean people, actually, great people. They travel overseas to cheer up our national team, and now we have a chance to see World Cup held in December in Brazil. Might be good with what red devil. We call them red devil. Korean rebels, they occupy some cities of Brazil and spend night time all the way. They will be jubilant, sorry. If we win, they will be different to be ocean, guard and safety of public street. Okay. So we may see some insight from a principal agent school of thought. So the fourth branch, administrative agencies, actually need to be taken in that viewpoint to be responsible for for example, popular will or legislative supremacy. So, and also some line authority from the president through the lower levels of public offices. And also, we have one important and branch, you know, the judicial branch, and they are empowered to exercise a constitutional power to review the legality of administrative action or decision. So they may condemned. For example, since the ordinary action would contradict the mandate of Constitution or enabling statute. So I said that two important sources of power should be understood. It's a constitutional, it's the matter of a structure and authority, and the Constitution and the statute granting specifically the competence and authority to the administrators need to be respected. In any case, the interplay among the players in this case was very interesting. For example, there will differ some difficult questions to arbitrate. I illustrated one important tendency, for example, involving the Department of State of the United States. They would exploit the kind of their authority in any tactful way. So they would rather be reluctant to say definite nature or quality of international treaties, for example, and they like to differ the determinative operation of the treaty to the discretion or rulings of a judiciary. There are separate viewpoints, and often the judiciary would highly resistant to recognize the international treaty as a domestic law in force about American lives. And in rare cases, the court may endorse its enforcement if there are any definite statement from Department of State who negotiating the treaty and also will play a practical role through the conclusion of treaty. The treaty process would be dealt, of course, as a constitutional matter. You know, the Senate and President would collaborate to conclude the treaty. However, the experts and technical team in the Department of State would vary in high extent of engagement. So practical matters often left within their hands and their discretion. And there are two standards the court developed in enforcing the international treaty as directly as a domestic law. If it is definitive to confer rights and interests in any specific terms and could compel the court to enforce as is. So sufficient basis to be enshrined in the document, which likely comes similar with other domestic codes or common law specifics or details, then they would apply the treaty as is. However, over the scope of advocacy, which is of course very ample and extended, the court would deny the treaty immediately as a law. Some transformative process to receive as a domestic law should be present. So, for example, the United States has enacted the statute entitled WTO commitment, for example, realization of dovetail commitment in the domestic context. So that practice involving dovetail organization would be shared over most global jurisdictions. Republic of Korea also has many statutes titled Enabling Domestic Code for Dovetail Treaty Orders, Tariff Act, Anti-Dumping or Subsidies Act, or instituted separately within independent code, or may complement the existing laws with provisions and clauses. And in view of a interbranch interaction, also some practical tendency could be entertained, which is not actually official nor any could be reduced to any definite term or conclusion. However, generally, the legislative and it's what we call often a congressman. Congressman would like to avoid any possible criticism. So they need to ensure the political interest for opportunity of next election, others. So some puzzling issues or public dilemmas which will be retrenched and hardly be resolved in any favorable outcome for the constitutions would be relegated to the administrative branch. So they will provide a principles or guidelines the state administrative agencies would respond with. However, in many ways, the mandate a little heightened. So what is that? So the genuine intent would not go in that way. However, the pressure and social atmosphere would compel to arrange the kind of public code with public programs for social welfare or other civil measures for the private class, for poverty, for example. However, the deadline would be highly unrealistic, for example. That would not be, that would not happen perchance. That could be what actually is skipped in some sense. The administrative agency could not readily respond within that deadline. They failed the date set as deadline or amendments. They passed the date, and the program would actually frustrate in the event. Then the congressman left behind the scene. That is my intent. Actually, I do not genuinely support the program. It was pushed to put it, and the deadline would go in there. That could be a practice. Of course, not definitely governing all the cases. It may be so in some cases, and could work in exceptional circumstances. The right way to approach this issue would be an oversight mechanism, and the democratic value also impose highly the control of political sovereignty of the specific nation, you see. So actually, the principal agent theory would be interestingly entwined with this oversight mechanism. So we now illustrate the three branches, for example, as principles, and ultimately the popular will to create the constitution itself. In last class, you were introduced to the bureau dominance proposal, and in any contrast, you will now be available of a principal agent theory. So, for example, you will know the name. For example, Niskanen, and also William West, Thomas McAdee, who is a very influential writer about the theory of bureaucracies and the essences of